Welcome back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. I'm Shan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Tucker.
Well, today we'll be doing Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Part 3, Episode 4, 5, and 6, which is Raindrops, Conflagration, and Chrysalis, I believe. Yes.
And this time we're actually going to try to do it. Last time we said we were going to, and then we got through one episode because, so we'll see.
That's a distinct possibility. I think I pointed out at the beginning. But this is like, okay, this is definitely doable. With enough alacrity, we could do 4, but we're not going to. Yeah, I know, Eric. I keep hearing in like the few books that I listen to now, I keep hearing that word. And I'm like, how did this word not cross Eric's vocabulary much sooner?
I should have more alacrity.
Yeah.
I would have sworn up and down that I had never heard that word in my life when Shan used it, and now I feel like I've heard it like 100 times. It's like everywhere I go, alacrity. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Is that no? There's a word for that effect, and I don't remember what it's like the cocktail party effect, but kind of like that. All right, episode 4, Raindrops. So we just got we just met Rainey doing the that choreographed scene.
In the rain.
Super awesome, very delightful little dance. Tossing her umbrella around, spectacular water effects.
Yeah, she's very charming. And she plays Yukio, so maybe sometimes I'll refer to her as Yukio on
Hi, Wade.
Hi, Wade. Bye, Wade.
It's like all I can see now. She looked vaguely familiar to me, and then Shan pointed out that she's Yukio from the Deadpool movies, and now it's all I can see.
Well, she's kind of got like this retro pop, like kawaii thing going on with in Deadpool, so like she's wearing a lot of like different things that adorn her face, so it's not super easy to know it's her.
Yeah.
All right, so we see that Rainey and Fragile are deeply affectionate. We see this a lot. Just like there's a girls' club that's going on the DHV Magellan, and it's fine. It's just not it's the feminine energy that I'm not used to. So they're very like affectionate. I'm like in
DHV Magellan.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to figure out a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants joke, but that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But they're very touchy-feely. It's like I don't know a whole lot of women that are actually like this in real life, but these women are deeply affectionate.
Physical touch is their love language. They're all brushing each other's hair, dancing and stuff.
I mean, so I had a thought on this. I think it's probably pretty intentional here. Just given some of the overarching themes of this game of connection and being together in person. So I think this is probably the over-affectionist throughout the whole... Over-affectionist? That's not a word. Just the...
Over-affectionuity.
The overt affection, physical affection throughout the game, I think just plays into that theme that goes throughout. Just, hey, it's not just there's a face-to-face connection that has to be had.
Yeah, like over and over again, from what I've seen from interviews and his book, it's just Kojima was defined by this moment he lost in his childhood his father, and then the crippling persistent isolation he would feel in crowds for like a decade or two after that. And so whenever he talks about Death Stranding, he talks about how he's basically trying to convey that feeling of isolation versus connection, and trying to be basically propaganda for how important it is for us to get together and connect in every way possible. And he propaganda. Emphasizes touch, he emphasizes like the physical stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really just philosophy, values. This is exactly what an artist or an author or a director should be saying with their work. They should have opinions and values that they're trying to convey in their work. Otherwise, it's not art. It's just something that happens for money. So, anyway. So, it's in this episode, Raindrops, where I felt like the pacing of the story started to suffer from overcorrection from the first game, where it's like you couldn't have had a longer cutscene or a longer conversation because there's like a natural curiosity I have as a person, and I just want Sam to portray any level of connection on the curiosity I'm feeling, or maybe the amount that we were getting in the pacing of the first game. And here it's just like, we kind of told you one thing, let's go out and do a mission, come back and do another random cutscene. And we start getting that a lot in this middle section of the game.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like, here's a nugget of information, a new little slice of lore, go do a mission, and then come back to the DTF Magellan and get a new little nugget of information and a bit of lore.
That's right. And it's fine. Both versions work. It's just I was fine with the prolonged cutscenes, and I think they had to overcorrect from that in a way that hurt the pacing of the story but improved the pacing of the gameplay, which is a perfectly reasonable compromise to make. Well, it's not a compromise. He just swung in the opposite direction. If you're going to do a lot of cutscenes, I guess that's the compromise.
Yeah, this is the section of the game where I kind of felt almost it was chore-ish, like I was doing a chore to get more information. It wasn't like
Are you a chore? Are you?
Yeah. The missions were all
you
the
bang
same.
my chore wife?
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't even make sense.
Yeah, no. But just like, oh, I have to go. Yeah, it just felt super repetitive. I lost my train of thought, but just it was doing the same thing over and over again, and kind of took me out of the story part of it. And I didn't love the gameplay loop here. I mean, yeah, we're talking like not like a 1 out of 10, but just a slight dip where I'm like, okay, this is kind of starting to get tedious and not. It started to pull me out of the game a little bit.
See, I don't know. It's a personal taste thing, but I kind of like the monotony of the Death Stranding gameplay loop. I don't know why it like speaks to me, but there's something kind of nice about like optimizing my loadout and then taking a nice stroll to a place, and like I like picking up multiple missions at a time where you'll get there and it's like this is this, and then you kind of do this along the way, and I see how much I can get on my back, and then like boom 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 try to do like 3 in 1. So I kind of like the monotony a little bit of the gameplay in this chapter, where it's like it's slow and plotting, but it's deliberate and intentionally kind of boring, and I sort of like it. I don't know, I'm here for it.
I mean, yeah, maybe that's where I went wrong, because I didn't do any sub-orders. I just was kind of on their main orders, story missions.
I don't do them unless it's like
content.
Yeah, I haven't been doing them unless it's something I can reasonably get done while I'm doing the main missions, because I am kind of trying to just experience the story, and so I'm not doing tons of side stuff, but bits and bobs here and there.
Alright, so in this section, Sam needs to go out and rescue a Timefall-resistant Joey in the midst of a spreading bushfire in Chiral Cinders. So we get a new concept of Chiral Cinders, but there's nothing like especially special about that concept. They're just cinder. They're just apparently Chiralium can light on fire, right, and fall from the sky. I don't know that there's much to that.
Also, giant whales that are on fire, just like raining from the sky.
Oh, right.
That's a bad time for everybody. Probably mostly the whales, but like that was a cool visual where it's like there's a bushfire and I'm walking out like, oh no, it's just going to be on fire, and no, it's just like falling flaming whales from the sky. Yeah, Sharknado, but with fire whales.
Did we get falling whales in the Cliffhanger episodes of the last game, or were they just already all there?
I think
I don't remember if they were shooting down to the ground. I think they were.
I mean, I vaguely remember a whale.
I feel like I would have remembered that, but I don't know.
All right. I love the art of this section. There's brilliant overexposure effects, volumetrics, physics-based mechanics. Like it feels like, yeah, we're leaning heavily into like actual film-like distortion of how you would capture a scene like this, and so. You know, he's clearly somebody who wants to move into directing films or something like that, and he knows how to speak that visual language, which I love.
I like how he can blur the lines cinematically between like filmmaking and gameplay. Like, and I think that like you know, game consoles and PCs and stuff are at the processing like they're powerful enough now to render near filmic effects, and I think that Kojima, as a big fan of films, it's cool to watch him be able to get closer and closer to like kind of bridging that gap visually. So I agree.
Right. You mean it's not as easy as just putting film grain in post-processing of...
That's one of the first things I do in any game. It's like film grain is on by default, and I'm like, get rid of that crap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but
There are very few games that it feels like it's worth it, but it also doesn't... Like, I don't always notice it unless I'm playing like on a monitor close to my face, but yeah, it's fine. Like, I didn't realize The Last of Us had film grain until I played it on a monitor. Anyway, so after this, Rainey comes out of the DHV Magellan. She jingles her shaman charm. It has blue raindrops adorning it with gold, probably chiralium, and that ends the conflagration, which is not the name of this chapter, but it's what it is. After this, Rainey narrates her backstory. Timefall came whenever she stepped outside. She was hated by everyone and her parents. They would call her a witch, which is what you call any woman who does something that you don't understand.
yeah, all magical women are witches and should be burned. If
Witches
history has
and
taught me
bitches.
anything, yeah. I did think it was kind of an interesting, like, not tribalistic. I'm trying to think of like an ancient mentality almost, where like Rainey had these weird abilities that people didn't understand, and they were like, throw her out of the village, kill her with rocks, and it's this very like. It seemed very out of time. Yeah.
So for me, it felt perfectly into this thing because we're this post-apocalyptic thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Humanity has just regressed thousands of years for survival, and then you have this lady that brings Timefall, which we know destroys everything.
Demon child.
So I kind of get it, but I know we're going to go further on this backstory, but this is where Fragile redeemed herself a little bit for me for killing Lou. Is how she.
And she didn't pull the trigger, but yeah.
Which she basically did. In my heart.
Yeah. All right, so they wanted to. Go on.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I was going to say I can talk about it when we get to where Fragile picks her up.
All right. So she was a witch, and they wanted to burn her alive. And how did they know she was a witch? It's because that she turned somebody into a newt.
She turned someone into a newt, and she floated instead of a
I
rock.
got better.
I got better. What else floats? Very small rocks.
Wood. No, he doesn't say wood. Yeah.
Apples, maybe? Is it apples? I haven't watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail in a long time.
What
It's been a
apples
minute.
actually float, so it's not that. Rocks. Anyway. Tangent again. So she ran away and she was alone. I think okay, well, I don't want... This is a theme, but we'll get into that later. Trying to capture like everybody's journey of isolation, stuff like that. I think it's kind of the corollary to the first game in that we did have that, but it was towards connection, and this is like a different kind of isolation that it feels like he's capturing. Anyway, she finds an Odradek-like baby toy, so it's just star-shaped, and on the ground. So nothing much to make out of that, just realizing what that toy was modeled after. And there she starts to voice over how she enrolled in the UCA as a mother, but still nobody would take her in. And then she gets in a quarrel with some Bridges people that threw a stone at her belly, even though she's pregnant.
Super
and
rude.
She tries to return the throw and misses, and then the woman strikes her in the belly with her zappy stick.
Yeah, like, why the belly? Like, come on, guys. All the way
Witch!
messed up.
Stab!
Yeah.
You always go for the
no,
belly.
pregnant witch, right in the belly. Yeah.
Alright, so the woman realizes she made a mistake and apologizes, but Rainey goes to kill her, and she's stopped by Bridges' soldier.
Can I just say, before we move on to the story, I want one little point here. I was, as a fan of animation, I had a hard time paying attention to like Rainey's backstory. I actually had to watch a YouTube video of it again because I was so deeply distracted by the absolutely phenomenal cloth simulation on the hoodie that she was wearing. It was like, as she lifted her arms up, it was stretching and distorting and like wrinkling over her body realistically, and it behaved differently when it was wet. And I was so just locked in on like her hoodie that I wasn't listening to a word anyone said, and I had to go back and watch it again. So the cloth simulation in this game is like nothing I've ever seen before, and I love it.
Is the best cloth sim that's ever existed in a video game the moment that man in the tar pulls the cloth
off of his. Yeah, I will get to that too. That's coming up in a minute here, but I have pretty much exactly the same note. I had to watch it again because it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. How are they doing this with computers?
This is CGI. We're in a simulation.
Yeah.
By the way too many people are buying into the we live in a simulation. You realize that's a movie, right? Like The Matrix is a movie.
Yeah.
It's like the Truman Show, where it's like people started believing that they were the protagonist of
everything in that show
an
is
invisible
accurate.
movie.
Listen, we are at most like 2 or 3 steps away from The Matrix and the Terminator movies, and so like who knows?
Well, it just feels like these prevalent conspiracy theories are just really rehashed ideas from old movies that this media illiterate generation hasn't watched, and so it's just becoming mainstream.
Also, if we were in a simulation, why would the people running the simulation allow us to have a copy of a movie called The Matrix about people who are like, why would that be a thing that exists? They wouldn't let that happen. Yeah, just that. Oh, this isn't a movie. Yeah, who's Keanu Reeves? I don't know.
But we do have Keanu Reeves. We are blessed in that way.
We are blessed. We are blessed in that way.
It's proof that we're not in a simulation.
Because
no, that
you're
man's too perfect to be real.
Yeah. He's probably my favorite person that I've never met.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. So after this, Rainey goes to jump off a bridge, and she apologizes to her baby as she's about to do this. This is very tragic. Then Fragile saves her, gives... and it feels like Iron Man vibes, like she's recruiting for some Avengers team. Calls her a pharmacon, which is a medicine that can harm and a poison that can heal. So there's that, not irony, but paradox there. And it depends on how you use it. I couldn't think of are there any famous pharmacons, infamous pharmacons that exist out there? I don't know.
Rogue from X-Men, maybe?
Okay. I was just talking about like medicines or something.
Oh, I thought you were talking about characters that could be described that way. So
I just wanted like a real life version.
I mean, pretty much all pain meds, right? Like
I guess you could overdose
in wrong doses and used improperly. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can make the argument for Botox because
that's a great example.
And
well, it doesn't really heal you, but it heals your ego.
I mean, they use it for migraines.
Well,
so
I was going to say, they have actual medical applications for it, not just to look pretty.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Things can be two things.
All right. All right, so as Fragile reaches out, Rainey moves away, and Fragile snags at her. It's pretty aggressive. I feel like this stranger that you just met, maybe you don't go like reaching for them, and you don't know if people want to be touched. Like, I don't know. It's presumptuous, to say the least. Yeah. Fragile drops the charm. That's when you see like what it looks like, how it's a raindrop and stuff like that. She says she could save the world. Fragile extends her hand, and that's the moment that you see that her skin is healed, and offers her protection as the sun. And then the sun rises shortly after that, because weather has to be used symbolically. If it's raining, it's because there's sadness. It just has to be.
So I forget. Have we been shown why Fragile's skin is healed? Like what caused that to happen? Have we been shown?
We just see it in this scene. No, that's the moment.
Okay,
she
see
reaches out to
that's what I
shake her
that's
hand.
What I thought. That's right.
And you see it heal.
Okay,
I didn't catch it.
That's what I thought, but I was with the way you phrased it. I thought maybe I was confused by. I thought maybe it had happened earlier or something. But I see now.
Yeah. She has to be in that 1.5 meter parameter of Rainey to get the core fall.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna jump in here. This is the reason Fragile redeemed herself here is she sees Rainey not as a burden, but she sees Rainey for what she can do, what she can become, the value that she has, and not just this evil witch. But yes, there's some bad and some toxic things to Rainey's powers, but there's also some good things, which, I don't know. As human beings, we all have these. I mean, we're all pharmacon at some point. We all have, these traits, these qualities that make us a really good person, and traits and qualities that can make us a really bad person. But it's how they're utilized. And I love Fragile coming in here saying, hey, basically suicide is, you don't have to do this. There's a life outside of what you've experienced with these other people.
And it's to do things for me.
I was just going to say, or she sees a person who's like, hey, I could use your talents and skills, just like she did with Sam, where she's like, hey, I'll watch your baby, go run errands for me.
Just like Dahlman does to
I'm
Sam.
with you. I'm with you a little bit, Tucker. I don't know what her intentions are. She's doing a good thing, but
it's a good thing, but she's not redeemed. She's not redeemed in the story sense, right? Like, for a person to go through a redemption arc, the act of redemption has to be tied to the original sin, and this is not at all tied. So she's a better person, and we like her slightly more, but she hasn't literally redeemed hers.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's not a literal redemption.
He said a little bit, Shan.
Yeah, okay, sorry. It made me think a little bit more Fragile. She went from absolute turd garbage human being that killed my child to, okay, she might be okay. She still stinks a little bit.
All right. So Rainey also has still baby syndrome at 7 months, and she says that the removal leads to death may be caused by beach imbalance. That's just a theory, possibly because these BBs or these fetuses are in between at the exact middle point, and the imbalance is pulling on them because of that imbalance, and that kind of freezes them in a stasis. That's my theory. Based on the imbalance theory.
Yeah, they explicitly say, like, these babies are just, I mean, we're going to find out soon here, but these babies are just frozen in time, in the womb.
Yeah, they're not dead.
They're not dead.
They're not
still
alive.
Yeah.
They're basically just BBs, but stuck in a living mother instead of a BB pod.
That's right. All right, Hartman says, some believe expansion caused disruption to the upper beach, and so they believe, because we know what caused disruption to the upper beach. It was Amelie sealing her beach. So that's why I think the still baby syndrome is the imbalance. I think life descends from Amelie's beach to all other beaches. And when she sealed it, all babies could only now progress to 7 months. They do say, they say most babies, or a lot of babies, are going through this. They don't say all babies are going through this. And I think that they're lying in the same way that they said they would talk in the first game about there being repatriates, and you realize that Sam's literally the only one that ever existed. I think all babies since Amelie sealed her beach are now still babies. So I think he's doing some misdirection here.
Okay, I like that theory. I'm gonna keep my eyes open for that as we move forward, because I like that thought.
Well, and I can't confirm this yet, but Amelie's beach is the one that, while showing the visuals of The Last Stranding, we see all of the stranded whales and the chiral mammals, and we see, while Tarman is describing how he lost his son, that chiral mammals are from where BT hunters emerge from. So I think these chiral mammals are birthing BT hunters into the seam, and these chiral mammals that come from her upper beach, when she sealed it off, these chiral mammals can no longer birth a beach ka equivalent into the seam, so they're essentially incapable of birthing new life. The chiral mammals are prevented from giving life to the lower beaches. So another one of my stupid rants, but I'm pretty confident about that one. All right. Yeah. Yes. So Flashback to a completely different area. Buildings are on fire. Chiral Cinders flying. Buildings adorned in Dia de los Muertos decoration. Ghost shadows of what looks like BT kids are running away. You hear shouts of a kid yelling for mom and dad. So this is another vision flashback, and presumably the same person that we've been seeing the flashbacks for before, but no confirmation at this point. You come across Tarfall. You see a 3-dimensional tar-covered version of Sam with a young Sam haircut. So this is Sam as we saw him in the photograph from Death Stranding 1.
Oh, I didn't notice his hair was different. That's a huge detail.
Yeah. So it's kind of mirroring his movements on a lag. But when Sam does a thumbs up, it does a thumbs down. Then hunters reach out at that moment, grab him, and pull him up through the tar fall.
Wait, I want to talk about why do we think it's mimicking a haircut from Sam before, like, the death... before Death Stranding 1 really kicked off.
I'm welcome to your theories.
I didn't have a theory. I didn't notice that until right now. Oh, okay. So if it's a spoiler for later, we can talk about it later. But that's interesting.
I'm open to your naive theories.
I didn't have any theories. I didn't notice that until you said it right now.
I know, but give me a theory.
I don't know. I mean,
theorize, dang
reflecting,
it, Eric, theorize.
Reflecting like an earlier part of Sam, maybe. I don't know. I have not had time to give it literally any thought. It's been in my brain for like 30 seconds. So
okay, well, we can maybe come back to that after this. We talk about the conflagration episode and see if you can get something from that. So then we see fireworks going off, tilt down to a skeleton Ghost Rider soldiers on motorcycles doing 6 stunts in a Mexican town.
badass.
Then from a tar pit, Solid Snake emerges.
Tijuana. Classic.
Yeah. This is basically Tijuana. Solid Snake emerges from the tar with this beautiful animation.
We're just calling him Solid Snake, yeah.
He's Solid Snake. Well, we don't have an official name for him, so he's
legally
Solid
distinct Solid Snake. It's Solid Snake, but spelled with Z's. Solid Snake.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's cuffed from behind. He breaks it. He starts breathing through the mask on his face.
Which looks amazing, by the way. You can
Eric,
see the fabric like sucking in like by where his mouth is and like pinching up around his nose. It's spectacular. Fantastic animation.
Small detail, when he breathes in and it sucks against his face, you can see it's more cavernous around his eyes. I think it's the skull until he pulls it down.
Okay.
Because then we also see lightning strikes and we see flashes of his skull to indicate that he's probably dead. That's what I assume that means.
Yes, there are a couple of times where lightning will flash throughout the sequence, and I noticed that his like flashing between his skeletal face and his like human person face was always tied to flashes of lightning, or when it would like when he'd put on his headband, and then there would be flashes of lightning, and it would cause his skeletal face. So somehow tied to his headband, flashes of lightning, or both. I'm still figuring it out, but.
All right, so they push the bikes back down into the tar and they light it on fire, the tar, and they prepare to attack. So they've done this since the first game. It's like whenever they are declaring war on Sam, they're like, all right, let's do this, soldiers. And then they just like light something on fire. It always works. So they put... So he puts the bag around his forehead like Solid Snake. There's no way that's not what he's doing.
It's like it's like right on his eyebrows. Like so, Solid Snake's design, the band would go right across his face. It would cover his eyebrows, and then there were like angry lines on the bandana. And so it's like it's exactly that, but without the angry lines on the bandana. The placement of the bandana, the width, like how he ties it around his head, the soldier uniform. It's like this guy is Solid Snake in all but name. He just.
Right.
Like very 100% Kojima being like calling attention to that.
Right. And then you see fireworks light up the scene behind him, so that's one distinct thing that we're getting here than we would get in the previous game. And so the fireworks probably denote that this is so we just had a flashback of a kid looking for mom and dad, and that was in this same location, and it was Dia de los Muertos, so that's probably why we're having fireworks in this liminal space, because we're back to this kid's most tragic day, probably.
Yeah, because
Anyway,
I mean, it seems like the Dia de los Muertos things is, we've seen that in the flashbacks when Sam connects to the BB pod, and now it seems like we're here on some kind of, maybe it's a beach, maybe, I'm not exactly sure what this is yet. So
yeah. Now these soldiers, they don't have umbilical cords tied to Solid Snake like the ones from Death Stranding 1 were tied to Clifford Unger. And I think he wanted to give some misdirection in this game for like, hey, look, this thing is exactly the same as the first game, when there are some subtle hints that it is different. Like, I don't know. Like, Tucker's theory was that the 4 soldiers with Clifford Unger were his special ops, and now I get the sense from this game that the soldiers with with this character is, they're more just like undead soldiers without a purpose that can be called to this revenant who is suffering this pain or trauma. But it feels like they did the umbilical thing different to denote that those were literally tied to him, Cliff Unger.
Well, and these guys in this one, I'm trying to remember exactly how it compares to the interactions with Clifford Unger, but these other skeletal warriors, when you fight them and they die, a new one will just kind of pop up somewhere else. They're like almost limitless. There just is more and more and more of them. Was it like that with the Clifford Unger encounters? I'm trying to remember. It didn't seem like there was as many enemies. This felt a lot more hectic and more enemies. Maybe it's just in my head, but
yeah. All right, so this starts episode 5 conflagration. As Sam appears in the streets, a black-haired woman in a tar-drenched white dress walks and saunters the streets with a sort of BT shadow. So we learn immediately after this is tomorrow. But I hope I figure out by the end of this game what that shadow is behind her, but I still don't know if it's her or if it's someone else.
Intrigue. Mystery.
I think I know. Oh, you know what? I think I know. I'm going to write it down for later.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have
Everybody
an idea.
shut up for a minute while Shan writes it down.
Shadow theory. All right. So I'm not going to talk about that. Don't want to get into anything that I know. I think you're just supposed to not know it at this point. But these charred bodies, they're not like BTs. They've kind of got like the feeling of the Avengers, right?
Yeah, they're Infinity War dust monsters. They just are kind of walking and they just go. Psh.
Yeah. Exactly, like the ashes of charred bodies or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's really trying to lean into that fire motif. Everything's on fire. There are fireworks. There's like thousands of particles, sparks everywhere. It's a lot of like an inferno, but in a festive kind of a way. And so I think they're leaning into that fire vibe as by making them kind of like skeletal ashen warriors.
Right. But like the shadow version of her, I had a different haircut. Her hair was pulled up in a bun, so I don't know why. If it is her, or if it's somebody else, at least the hairstyle is different. Maybe as misdirection. I don't know.
Well, we find out later that. No, I'll save it.
Yeah. So what are these ghost shadows? Dahlman calls them spirits of the dead, but that's different from anything that we already know or understand. So is this the actual afterlife, but for someone who is suffering? So I posit that the Tarfall is taking them to the literal afterlife, and he does eventually call this place Nirvana, and I think that was Kojima giving a hint as to what this is. Nirvana, let's see, how does he describe Nirvana? Well, I wrote it down later. We can talk about Nirvana later.
It's a
when we
band
get
from
to
the
that.
90s and the early 2000s.
Oh, no, here. In Buddhist teaching, nirvana is the ultimate liberation from samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This implies this place is the actual afterlife. So I think they've been freed from the real world, and they've been freed from their own beach. They've walked into the seam, like as those blue dead bodies walking into the water. They've walked in. They have now reached, quote unquote, nirvana. This is the land of the dead.
Ooh. Also, there is a clear contrast between whenever we see afterlife or limbo style, not afterlife, but post-death areas like beaches, they're very tied to water. The seam is water. The beach is full of water. And this is very clearly not, it's on fire. Everything is burning. So there's maybe some dichotomy there. I haven't figured out. I just had that thought right now, so I'm not sure exactly the significance of that. But
Yeah. Also, this does probably seem to indicate this is a collective traumatic event for people that all died at the same time because they share a beach-like area. They share their afterlife death. Maybe because they shared a beach from their collective death, so they all were... This is like Hartman's tragedy. All those dead people walk into the seam. They all go to a collective afterlife that they now share because they shared a beach as well.
Which is interesting because I'm trying to remember, was Hartman's from a Void Out? Because I think whenever we see these mass death events, it seems to always be a Void Out, where this is not a Void Out. This is something different, which is...
But they do explain that even people in war share a beach, and that's
right,
not Void Outs.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I think it's just interesting that here's our first taste of a non-Void Out mass death event.
Right. So conflagration being a massive fire, I think this is implying that everybody's ha was probably burned in this Dia de los Muertos tragedy, which caused them not to necrotize and immediately go to the afterlife. Sharing that.
well, if they were all burned
Yeah,
up, then yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. All right, so as a firework pops off, it tilts down to a burning cathedral on one side. Angel centered in the frame with a busted wing. It's in a cemetery. That nameless man is surrounded by his soldiers. He flicks his dead watch. So this is similar to like Joel.
What time is
running
it in
Dead
the
Watch,
afterlife? Yeah.
where I think that his watch maybe indicates like the moment he died or something like that, similar to how Joel's watch indicates the moment he lost his daughter. That's why he never stops wearing it, so he could remember the exact second he lost her and his life stopped. Or it's product placement, because I think that maybe they're selling these watches or they have some collab.
You never can tell with Kojima.
You can tell if you watch a Jurassic World movie, but here I don't know.
Yeah.
It's deeply symbolic, or it's just a product placement for Nikon.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the when Death Stranding 1 first released, they had like a big brand deal with Monster Energy drink. And so if you played it on the PS4, not on the PS5, every time Sam drank one of those cans of whatever, it was a Monster Energy drink. And so Kojima has been known to dip his toe into the product placement pool.
Yeah, I constantly crave cryptobiotes whenever I play this game.
You're like, looks tasty. I want animal crackers now.
Yeah, the cryptobio industrial complex is working overtime.
All the way buy fruit snacks in the shape of cryptobiotes. I would buy the hell out of those. I'm going to Google it right now to see if they
I
exist.
really hope they have a crunchy
Fantastic
middle,
idea.
so you get that little bug-like...
Nice nougaty middle, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried things?
IT crowd where Roy is like, with friend faces like, oh, advertisement doesn't really work on me. And then it's like some crazy like, oh, I'm so thirsty. And
Thirsty.
It's great.
yeah.
All right, so
There's a cryptobiote marshmallow that some YouTuber made. We could buy marshmallows from him.
we could probably get Emily to make these.
You guys, let's make
with a pretzel middle.
Let's make gummy snack cryptobiotes and be millionaires. We could be in on the. No one else is doing it. Let's get in on the ground floor, you guys.
Let's go ahead and steal somebody else's IP.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Nothing as bad has ever happened stealing somebody else's IP.
I feel like Kojima wouldn't care if we did a good enough job. If they were cool enough, he'd be like, "I want 10 boxes, please."
That's right.
He seems like a chill dude.
So they have this cool effect in the cemetery where the candles all light up from where they're at and out. And then fireworks pop off behind them. It's similar, in my opinion, to like the Vietnam scene where Clifford Unger descends and like lights like the tar on fire. Just like a very well staged and blocked shot to just like capture the gravitas of this enemy.
I feel like I remember giving an audible "ooh," kind of was like, "Oh, that was cool."
Yeah. So while you're in this battle with this man, you see him shooting around in a strange way. This is a new effect, so I'm going to keep an eye out to see if there are other times this effect is used. But it kind of seems like every time he shoots around the scene, he leaves this trail of like fractal glass in his path.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is to mean something.
At first, I thought he was teleporting, but then he leaves, like a trail of some kind of like ethereal, ghostly glass type of stuff. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this is like traveling through Chiralium. Okay.
Yeah, I racked my brain on this a lot, and I came to the conclusion it's probably just so you can see where he moved, so you can go chase him.
It is, but I want him to have come up with a sci-fi reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that was my thought too. Is it because it makes it easy to be like, oh, he jumps to here and then here, and then, so it makes you like he's over. I got to go over there now. So from a gameplay perspective, that's 100% the reason. But I agree with Shan. I want there to be a lore reason too. But maybe there isn't. Like I said, you never really know with Kojima. Like,
yeah. So after you fight him, he removes his bandana and is suddenly in his formal wear. So they did the same thing with Cliff Unger in the first one, where it's like he goes in to hug attack Sam, and then he's suddenly wearing his suit. So it's like it's them always demonstrating like, okay, the battle's over, my defenses are down. But this is who I really am. So that's really just like a projection of my mental state is what I was wearing.
Yeah, color me intrigued. I really want to see more of this guy. I'm super interested in what in the world is going on with him.
So Eric, if you like this guy, there's a really cool video game series called Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, really?
He is part of so many of them.
Where can I find it?
There's a whole franchise.
All right. I used to have a Solid Snake action figure, and like it was a really nice one. It was like a super fancy collectible one that cost me like it was like $80 or whatever. And in my days of mild poverty, I sold it, and I don't have it anymore, and I wish I still had it. So sad story for me.
Yeah. Being poor makes us all bad people. We need to.
Yeah, stop being poor. It's the worst.
I sold my Pokemon cards when I was poor, and it made me a bad person.
Yeah.
But then I bought them back, and I redeemed myself, so... Yeah, coolest story ever. Not really. All right, so as he's dying-ish, he says the words Nirvana, and so Dahlman interjects, this is Nirvana, a realm for the enlightened. No, they're not
really?
enlightened.
Thanks, Dahlman.
Thank you for, making shit up. No, he clearly didn't say Nirvana. I don't know what he said, but it wasn't that. But I think it was just Kojima using it as an opportunity to indicate what this location was and how it's different from a standard beach. And Dollman being obnoxious and wrong more than he needs to be.
Friggin' Dollman, he's the worst.
Well,
he's starting. I did, but he's starting to get on. He's starting to get on my nerves now. He's having the Atreus effect in God of War, where I was like, could you just shut your mouth and let me figure it out myself, please? Like, yeah.
Yes, it's
I
exactly
really wish there was
like
a setting where you could just say increase the time limit between when you're doing something and when they interject with some guiding knowledge, and you could just say, hey, give me an extra 10 minutes before you jump in and tell me what to do.
Or just flag all of his dialogue that's optional because it's not adding to lore, and just have a setting to turn it all off. But yeah, he's obnoxious.
A be quiet forever option.
Yeah. All right, so Chiral Cinder explodes and explodes Sam away. Sam sees a woman beneath a collapsed statue. This is tomorrow. She has a floating ghost moth thing floating over her head. So we're going to see that little creature here and there throughout the game, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Sam looks up after being exploded and sees a pod or a chrysalis of some sort in her place. Then he suddenly wakes up and he's on the ground of the real world. Chiral rodents are chewing at the chrysalis's face, and a
Gross.
dog mech scares them away. And then inside is a golden-faced woman from the liminal space, a nirvana, as if she should be necrotizing because she's like covered in black and gold. Her face is gold, similar to a body that's going through necrosis. So, is there something to make of this? I don't know. We don't know what the chrysalis really means or what it is. I know what it is, so I'm not going to talk about it. So I can't really give fake theories.
Yeah, this was something that I, at the time, was trying to understand what it was, and the best I could come up with is that this, I don't know what else to call it for now, this nirvana area, this afterlife area, is either some kind of beach or is the genuine afterlife once you've passed through the scene. But it is a land of the dead. Very, hinted at with like the Day of the Dead theming and stuff like that. And for some reason, tomorrow, this girl here is not dead and is able to cross back into the land of the living. And so I thought that, when a body necrotizes, it's crossing onto a beach, like it's is crossing onto the beach. And so maybe this is some kind of inverse of that. That's the best I could come up with.
All right, so are you ready for the most mind-blowing thing that you've ever heard? And I think I'm the only person in this world to have discovered this detail in this game, because I don't think I've seen anybody else talk about it. All right.
Is this the one that you sent me?
Yeah, this is one of them that I sent you.
Yeah, okay. I know.
Shan's got too many. He's too smart. He's got more than one.
Well, I've rewatched the gameplay as many times as it took to understand every shot. All right, so first of all, Dia de los Muertos, I think conceptually was brilliant because this is the moment where the real world is celebrating the land of the dead. This might be the start of the Death Stranding because we see those giant BTs crossing into the world, and ironically, this is the moment that death is spilling into the world, trying to cause the BTs to come in and sweep out the world, but it doesn't happen. That would mean that this is maybe the day that Sam died and was repatriated. That's one theory that I have.
Muertos standing.
Dia de los Muertos occurs over 2 days, November 1st and November 2nd. First day for kids, second day for adults. And from the best I could tell, Sam's birthday in the game is November 9th. So... I don't know if that's official his date, but it is very close to this date. So that's not even the thing that I was about to talk about that I told Tucker. I think this is the start of the Death Stranding.
It's November 9th. I just Googled it.
So that's official?
I don't know. It's just according to the wiki. So kind of moderately official.
I still think that there's some kind of... I know that it's like a week separated, but I do think that this possibly is the start of it.
Well, it stands to reason that the effects of the Death Stranding might not have started the moment Sam was repatriated. It might have taken a week or something for things to really start catalyzing.
He would have needed to be born a week before.
Oh, I guess that's true. Also,
when is his birthday? Him being a BB, when is his actual birthday? I mean, I feel like there's some leeway there.
But it's the moment she repatriates him that creates
when he died
balance.
and was
Yeah, but I guess his birth could his repatriation date be November 1st, but his actual birth date November 9th. I'm trying to make it work out here.
Right. I still want it to work. I feel like there's something to it. Maybe his birthday wasn't officially written down, and Kojima just kind of mentally changed it to November 2nd. I don't know. Doesn't matter. The point is that, okay, Eric, here's the mind-blowing part. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was reading. Yes, I'm ready. Do it. Let's hear it.
Okay. So this land in the afterlife that we know that this kid from the flashbacks was also in, because we just had the flashback like moments before this scene. This area is the area in Mexico that is engulfed in a red sandstorm.
Oh.
Shan has the receipts of screenshots to prove it, and I fully back him on it because it is way
snap.
too similar to be a coincidence.
It's a giant
and you can't
area
get in there. I
without
never
a
tried to
name.
get in there. You can't.
Yeah, it's a giant area that is nameless in between distro centers, and all the buildings are like collapsed. The streets are covered, so you can't tell that they're cobblestone like they are in this area, and and I think the sandstorm and the red filter are just misdirections so that you can't do one-to-one comparisons.
I was going to
like,
say, tell me, did you like compare landmarks or like?
I found one, so I didn't replay the game to see it, but I found 2 videos of walking through this area and walking through that area, and I found the exact same building.
That is fascinating. So,
Yeah.
presumably this area is either mirroring that place in Mexico, or it's physically taking you there via some kind of plate gate, maybe.
No. This area is long dead. So this is still a liminal afterlife space
Well,
that
but
is
the chiral
capturing
network-
the collective trauma of the moment in Dia de los Muertos
Okay.
that the Death Stranding maybe started.
Okay, but it's so in this yes. Okay, so you're experiencing a past version of it in this instance where everything's on fire.
Yeah, it's a very real town where, like, with Cliff Unger, it was like these wartime flashbacks. So it's like
It's an amalgamation of like.
Well,
exactly.
they were real
And,
places.
like,
Yeah, it was amalgamations of the soldiers who died. So it wasn't Cliff Unger who was in all of those battles specifically, because he wasn't in like World War I and II in Vietnam, but he's able to be within their collective traumatic area because of his trauma that he has that's similar, and being a soldier. A little
Well,
hand waving there, but yeah.
That lends credence to this not being a collective trauma beach, right?
I thought
Because
that
it's one physical location.
no, well, no, because soldiers, when they collectively die, they are sharing the battlefield of the location that they all collectively died as
So
their
if a bunch of
traumatic
people
afterlife.
if a bunch of people died there in some kind of conflict at the same time, then they would be in a beach of mirroring that location. Okay, that
Right.
makes sense. Wow, that's crazy. Good find. How did you figure that out?
How was it? It was like I was going through and I was like,
so yeah, you were
Yeah.
telling me you're rewatching videos for the very first episode we recorded, and it just
Right.
like clicked that it was there.
I realized, because, okay, this is what it was. I realized this is Dia de los Muertos, which they never say, but like it's implied, but like I never officially told myself that's what this day was. And once I realized, okay, this is Dia de los Muertos, so this has to be in Mexico. Oh, we already played in Mexico. Oh, it would have to be a physical location. Oh, I remember a giant location that had no name and was hard to read because of the sandstorm. So, like, boom, 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 a bunch of epiphanies. Then I watched videos, found the receipts. I don't know that anybody knows this yet. The game hasn't been out that long, to be fair.
No one talking on the internet, maybe, if you haven't been able to find other people talking about it.
Yeah. Anyway, I also want to figure out if this is the start of Death Stranding. I want that theory to be correct as well, but we'll see. Hopefully the story elucidates more as we talk about it. Not that they're going to give that specific timeline, but that would be fantastic to me. Alright, so start of episode 6, Chrysalis. Tarman and Fragile look over the sarcophagus pod. The woman has a black and gold visage as if she is necrotized. Tarman starts operating, and Tarkat, that's what I'm going to name this character, Tarkat,
I like it.
licks
Tarkat.
up the tar. Yeah. So this is playing out like a classic 80s horror operation scene, like in Alien, or maybe everything that Sam Raimi parodied in Spider-Man 2 for the Doc Ock.
It's a secret parody movie. Yeah.
It's not so ham-fisted, but I mean, he's got some like classic visuals of like the, I don't know, almost like a Frankenstein thing going on, where it's like you got the low angle camera shots and him pulling out the ominous tools and just creepy things happening. Great lighting for it. I love it.
Yeah. Not shying away from like their, you know, they cut her open and a bunch of tar pours out of her, and
Yeah. After cleaning her arm and hooking her up, Fragile sees tentacle-like suction cups, so this is Lovecraftian, which is just what you do. If you're doing cosmic horror, you just do tentacles. We've already established that. You just do it.
Yeah. Well, and I liked, at first, to me, it looked like, it was reminiscent of, they had all these, like, it looked like needle pricks because they had points in the middle of them, and then tar started coming out of her things. And at first, it reminded me of the spikes that Fragile had on her shoulders in the first game, right before she would jump. And then when Tarman refers to it as a chiral rash, I was like, oh, suction cups, because we see monsters have tentacles. If, Lou gets upset to the point of being inoperable, the BB pod fills with tentacles. Tarman's cat thing Tarkat has tentacles in its mouth, we see a little bit of that in the first game, but it's they're leaning a lot into like octopus-like tentacles with suction cups on them in this game. So,
right. The first one they had replaced tentacles with umbilical cords, but I don't remember any tentacles overtly, if not for the catcher BTs with their.
I was gonna say they had the like blah, 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 blah things on their face, but they weren't specifically like aquatic tentacles. These ones are very octopus or squid-like. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, tapping them revealed the needles and that shoot out tar, but this tar is unlike the tar that we normally see in that it re-ages Fragile's hand. So this indicates that there is like a Timefall element to this tar secretion. So it's a unique secretion that we haven't seen before. It's like Timefall, but tar.
Yeah, well, and it's only the tar from, because I think that while Tarman is performing things, I guess he's probably wearing gloves, but the tar from like when he cuts open Tomorrow doesn't seem to affect them, but the tar that shoots out of the chiral rash does affect Fragile.
Right. Yeah, so he says this is a chiral rash similar to when you get goosebumps, but worse. So I don't know. That means she's a doom sufferer. So after leaving Sam's room, he sees this woman Tomorrow floating while dormant. Fragile and Tarman are trying to pull her down and help. There are white strands around her. It's very subtle, but I'm going to keep an eye out for later in the game to see if this effect comes back, to see if it's a consistent thing that denotes some kind of science fiction lore, because it kind of looked like the white strands that are at the seam of the chiral network.
Yeah, I've noticed it in at least one other place. So
there's
far.
one later in a different episode. The next episode, I believe, that does it. Yeah. So when this is happening, these are her nightmares. Tarman says there are those that connect to the beach during REM, allowing extra chiralium to flow through them. So I think this is also the ability that Sam has, and that's why he constantly has beach visions.
It would make sense, because he's hooking up to the pod and having visions, even though, we're unsure of whether or not there's an actual BB in his pod this game.
Yeah. He doesn't have so much chiralium flowing through him that he starts floating due to the breaking of physics from all the chiralium, but he does connect to the beach in his dreams. So, yeah. So I think that's a consistent thing between the two of these now. So, Tomorrow seemingly in perfect health now. Her suckers are more like Oh yeah, the chiral rash. So we already talked about that. Dalman says she came from Nirvana, land of the dead, this new location that we've established. And Fragile says she was born in that place but is living. So something caused her to be born into an other realm.
This immediately brought to mind Amelie for me. I don't know, like the note I wrote down, and this is I kind of am just theorizing as I go. So the note I wrote down was. This woman is a living being who was born in the land of the dead. Some kind of EE, maybe. And I don't think that she is an extinction entity, but I think that there's a definite similarity with how Tomorrow was born and how Amelie was born, except Tomorrow seems to have a Ka and a Ha, where Amelie was just a Ha. I guess initially she was a Ka and a Ha that split.
At age like 22.
At age 22. So some similarities, but some of the details are different. So,
yeah, all we have to do is see her belly button, and we would know.
And we'd know
if she had.
On a side note,
yeah.
I just watched the episode of Severance. Mild spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen season 2 of Severance, but where they go to that weird place and they're like, "We would like to see your bellies, please," and they like lift up their shirt, like the goat people. They like lift it, like sure, and they lift up their shirts, and it's like, yeah.
Is there anything like more fantastic in Severance than the moment they meet the goat people?
It was very, and I don't want to talk too much about it in case people haven't watched it. But very weird, like what's going on? I need to not talk about it, or we'll spend the rest of the episode talking about Severance.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. Very, very weird show. I am super into it. If I didn't have to be here talking with you guys, I'd be watching Severance right now. Not that I'm not happy to be here. I'm just super into that show. It's so good.
Yeah. All right, so back at the DHV, Tomorrow is back to blonde, and she
say the whole name,
stuffed...
Shan. You have to say the whole name.
DHV Malele.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll get the second part of the word wrong. Or yeah. Anyway, so she's back to blonde. So it seems like she can go from black to blonde based on her state of being, but we don't know what that means yet. She throws a crypto bio.
Tar.
Well, it is tar,
I
but like
the tar out.
But when she has it versus when she no, because at the end of this section is when she gets into the fight, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's after she submerges or maybe, but like maybe the tar is just sticking to her hair. I thought it was physically changing to black.
Potato. I mean, I don't know if it... I'll keep an eye out to see if it points it out specifically, but I was the same as Tucker. I thought that it was either her hair was changing color based off of like interactions with the tar, or that she just had tar in her hair. Because I think earlier in this chapter it talks about, Fragile says like a passing line about how Tomorrow is showered and is feeling better. And then the next time you go see her, she's got blonde hair. So
I think based on these screenshots, her hair turns black because it's not goopy like Tar Cat's fur is. It still looks very clean. You can still see individual strands, even though it's supposedly covered in tar. So this is a different state for her. All right. Where were we talking about? Oh yeah, so she's acting like a baby, throwing things around, or like a toddler. I think she sucks on her thumb as well. She doesn't want to wear shoes, which is also like a child, but also because she has the chiral rash on her feet and doesn't want like the needles to poke it, I guess. And
yeah, we should start a counter. We should start a counter for how many times Tomorrow either loses her shoes or refuses to wear shoes. Because in this one episode, it's like 5 or 6 times. It's a lot of times.
Right. Yeah, so as she's sucking her thumb, Fragile's like, no, we don't do that. If only she was as good at taking care of baby Lou as she is taking care of this.
Yeah, she seems real good at babysitting this adult.
This adult baby. Right. So after this, Rainey sings Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head to Tomorrow, who weirdly can hum along as if she knows all of it, and then starts singing. And yeah, she's brushing her hair with like this iridescent or rainbow brush. So that's a fun consistency, like thematically with Rainey. But yeah, Sam watches this. He joins in, walks away. How would she know this song?
It's a very catchy song. You should probably
That's
know it
fair.
away.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how she would have learned this song. Maybe this is the first time Rainey has hummed it at her. I don't know. But I did love the part where they stop singing for a minute and they like don't realize that Sam is there watching them, and then Sam just goes with his deep gruff, like the rain keep falling on me, like with his mildly tone deaf singing, and it gave me a good chuckle because they both were like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were here. We're all singing. Okay, yeah, you can sing. That's fine."
Yeah, I love being represented in games where you have a tone-deaf person singing. I feel very heard and seen anytime this happens.
Tucker really identifies with that. Yeah.
Look, the first year that we were in college together, Tucker's like, hey, I want to learn how to sing. And I thought, yeah, this is teachable. And we had Luke there. And then after like...
Luke is the singiest boy in all the world. Yeah.
Yeah. After like 30 minutes of this, I think Tucker gave up and never went back to it.
Yeah, I could sense it was going to be a lost cause, and just, yeah.
Give us a few bars of raindrops, Tucker. Why don't you sing for us? Yeah.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
That was really good.
Wait, stop before the copyright strike.
Yeah, we don't want to get copyrights, Tucker. Please be quiet.
I have to think that that song is in the public domain by now.
BJ Thomas? No, public domain is like, isn't that 70 years or something? Time for music to public domain. It is music published before 1923, so it is 102 years right now. Wait. Or, okay, so music published after 1922, the copyright term is typically the life of the author plus 70 years, so I was right about the 70, or 95 years from publication for works created anonymously.
Yeesh.
So
the
sounds...
life of the creator plus 70. That is a lot.
Is that like Mickey Mouse rules? Is it the same thing as...
I thought it was 100 for like... That's because the Winnie the Pooh just ran out. I saw... like a thing, or a little while, they're making like a horror Bambi movie where Bambi has a million teeth and roars, because you know how deers roar. So,
okay, so characters and other creative works published in 1929 will enter public domain on January 1st, 2025. So it is almost the same, but shorter. All right, well, now that we got that out of the way.
Now we know. So Tucker...
is
please
BJ
don't
Thomas
sing. You'll
death?
get us
That's
in
the next
trouble.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it could also
He
just be royalty
died.
free.
Oh yeah, he died in 2021. I slightly remember that.
You're gonna have to wait, 66 more years
Yeah.
before you can sing that song, Tucker.
And today plus 70 years for Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh yeah. As of time of recording, Ozzy Osbourne died today. It's kind of crazy news. I mean, not too crazy. He lived a pretty wild lifestyle
It's
in his
a
earlier years.
crazy
yeah.
train, yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy train. he finally went off those rails on his crazy train. Oh,
Of life. I finally understand the song.
Yeah.
I get it now. I get it.
Eric, you should give his googly.
It's too soon.
And just,
I'll give his you googly
Yeah.
eulogy.
That is too stupid. You know what a googly was.
Oh, we really got off the rails. What were we talking about? Oh, tomorrow is getting your hair brushed by Rainey.
So tomorrow when Sam have another run-in in the hall, she tries to push past Sam and wants to go outside, averting his look. Fragile wants her to wear shoes. She doesn't like this. Rainey gives her an apple that immediately rots and splashes on the ground as if it's filled with Timefall that reverted on contact. So it's like just full of water that splashes when it rots and falls on the ground.
I thought it was just the rotten apple. Rotten apples are kind of splashy. I'll watch the video again and see.
No, because it's like the similar slower animation, iridescent, bubbly look, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think. Maybe it's
I don't remember
specifically. No, because that would
I'll
be
take your word.
Rainey's thing. That'd be Rainey's thing. So I think the
It'd
secretion...
be filled with tar, if anything, if it was
No, because
related to...
I think the secretion would turn back to water or whatever on contact, right? So, like, she clearly touched it with her needle hands that filled it with this tar that aged it. But maybe the water was just rotten apple water. Yeah, that could be it. I don't know.
Just an effect of the chiral rash. That's what I read it as. It's a similar thing that happened to Fragile's hands, just happened to the apple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it wasn't like Rainey's water. I was misremembering that. But anyway. Tarman wants to talk on the bridge. He says where they picked her up, there's still Tarfall for passage to the other side. So Tarfall, different from a beach, Tarfall enters you to Nirvana. He wants to send her back home where her family probably is. Fragile disagrees. Says the Chrysalis was filled with a fluid containing amino acids identical in structure to the kind found in tar. These proteins are how chiral creatures can emerge from it. And so this tar is like a primordial soup. And so catcher BTs are probably... Yeah, so catcher BTs are born in the amino acid of the primordial soup tar, right? I think... Because we know that, like, catcher BTs or these chiral mammals, the chiral mammals at least, they're carriers of BTs, but we've always kind of known that BTs, larger ones, they always theorized that they were amalgamated BTs. So it's almost like these chiral mammals, like the whales that are birthing hunter BTs into the seam, they're being born of the amino acids in the tar. And then their wombs are acting as the liminal space for dead people to be born into the seam to give life to the real world or something like that. Anyway, it's still, I mean, wonky but unnecessary and probably getting it wrong because we're not science nerds. So, shut up, science, bitch!
Sometimes science is a liar.
Yeah. So he says Tomorrow isn't a chiral creature because her DNA and cellular structure prove that she's a human. Her world is filled with the dead like a beach, but not a beach. Fragile pulls rank and decides to keep her. Tomorrow walks away kind of feeling betrayed by this conversation and isolated, and that's where you see the white strands emitting from her body, similar to when she has nightmares.
Yep.
So this denotes in an emotional state she's kind of resonating with the chiralium of the beach or something like that. I don't know. Just it denotes that she's moody, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly because to me it reads like either a connection to something or like it looks like marionette strings, like being puppeted. And so I don't know if she's being controlled by anything else, but it looks like marionette strings to me.
Like she's a vessel?
Yeah, like so I'm wondering if when she's in these emotional states, if she's more susceptible to something that I haven't encountered or experienced yet. So,
or she's
theorizing
something that allows you to see it, similar to how you can see BTs if you have dooms or...
Yes, maybe something like that. Similar to like how umbilical cords connect BTs, maybe these connect her physical manifestation in this world.
All right, so after this, Tomorrow runs away, and you get into a mech encounter. Sam gets overwhelmed, and Tomorrow pops up, and she corrodes the mech.
Before we get to I encountered something that I want to hear your guys' opinion on while she was running away. You come across these things that look like BTs, like they're floating above the ground, and they have an umbilical cord that kind of goes above and then connects to the ground beneath them, but they are not ethereal like BTs. They are fully opaque. They look like floating corpses. Did you guys see those?
I didn't realize they were fully opaque. Are you sure they just weren't Watcher BTs?
I mean, maybe. It didn't set off my Odra deck, if I'm remembering correctly. It looked like they were, and maybe a graphical glitch or something. But like, it was, I should have taken a screenshot, but it just looked like floating bodies with umbilical cords that distinctly did not look like BTs to me. They looked like character models, just floating bodies that weren't moving or tracking me. They were just kind of floating there.
Did
Is
you
that?
shoot one?
I'd have to rewatch
I did not.
it.
I ran away because they terrified me. And it wasn't in like it wasn't in a cutscene. It was in gameplay. Like as I was chasing after Tomorrow, I encountered them and I was like, "Oop, I'm gonna go all the way around these guys. Don't know what that is."
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're describing is a new kind of enemy that you run into.
Okay. All right.
Because I've only seen them in that state. I think exactly where you're talking about it, except I shot them and regretted it.
Did they? Tell me what happened. Because I kind of regret not shooting them. They scared me so much that I just left. Did you die? Were they like? Was it really fierce or like? Did they drag you down like normal BTs? Like,
I shot them a lot and they didn't die, and then ran away.
And then ran away. Okay, but they didn't capture you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
See, I'm wondering if there is some kind of other BT. I'm wondering if when they do get you, if they pull you down into the tar and make you face like an amalgamated BT, or if there's some other kind of thing. I don't know.
I would have to.
I was so unsettled by them looking like BTs but not looking like BTs that I just noped all the way out of there.
All right. Well, if I see something like that, I'll theorize on it. But do your own research.
Yeah. I wanted to see if you guys encountered them too. It sounds like Tucker did, and Shan went around a different way maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, or I just don't remember them being different because I wasn't paying attention at that moment.
Yeah.
All right, so Tomorrow is able to corrode the mech with her Timefall tar hand. Organ music starts playing as mechs surround them, and she kicks off her shoes and ties back her hair, and with Tara standing from her feet.
I didn't realize we read this part. Yeah, they're ghost mechs, Eric.
Ghost mechs, yeah, that's what they call them.
Yeah. So the little floating guys, when they're floating in that mode, they're just ghost mechs. When I went up and shot them, because I thought they were BTs. I'm like, I'm about to go own some BTs. And
okay, see, they looked like BTs, but they're ghost mechs. Okay, so that makes sense because we've seen Higgs pull them out of some other kind of place, maybe a beach. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. They're ghost mechs that are like disguised like BTs, maybe, but I don't know. They're freaky.
So they didn't do anything till I shot them. So I think they're just like in a weird stasis mode, maybe.
Weird. All right, they're creepy.
I can't believe I missed this.
Yeah, it's just like as you're following Tomorrow's footprints, it's like there's like a spot where she's kind of going, and then there's like three of them in a cluster right here, and then her footsteps go that way, and then they like take a turn and go another way.
Psych.
So if you were really focused on her footsteps, you might have just not seen them at all.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
All right, so she then falls into the tar and jumps out covered with golden carvelium tears instead of black. Usually we see black seeping from the face. She surfs along the tar and melts the mechs while dance fighting, kind of like Zoolander, I guess, with the breakdance
exactly
fighting.
Like Zoolander.
Yeah.
I mean, different style of fighting, but that conceptually, fight dancing is one of the coolest ways you could possibly fight someone. But it's very well choreographed. She's weirdly good at this, despite kind of just being born into the world, not knowing who she is, but knowing
this
how
part
to sing
was
raindrops.
awesome.
Yeah, this was an oh damn moment for me. Of just
Well, the organ music too, like it really sets the stage.
Oh my gosh! As like I just remember putting my controller down and just like looking at the screen and listening to the music, and being like, "This is awesome!" Like this was a super cool cutscene, really awesome choreographed fight scene. I love the physics effect of when Tomorrow goes to tie back her hair, and just like the interactivity of like the dynamic animation interactivity of her hair with her hands, really impressive technically. And just like she's like jumping into the tar, like, and then swimming through it and then popping up and attacking these mechs and aging them in like the blink of it, like so cool, really awesome fight scene.
Mm-hmm. I think we need the trope of organ music to like we had it with Ganondorf in
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time, but like organ music is underrated for delivering like sinister undertones to an enemy or something like that. Like this was phenomenal and so out of
Yeah.
place, so it really captures your attention.
So this is during this scene, right after this scene played out, I went to go write down a note, and I want to say that I wrote down a note and I have a theory. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to guess right and then be given clues about that, and I don't want to potentially spoil it for anyone else. So I have a theory based on something that happened here. And if it turns out that I'm right, in a later episode, I'll call back to this moment and say, this is what I was talking about. But I want it on the record that this is when it happened so that you guys can't be like, you just made that up. I had a theory. It happened here because of this cutscene.
So I can say, I had a theory. I have a theory too. That I'm just going to mark this moment, no matter
Yeah.
what it is in the future. I just want to look smart and can tie it back to this moment. That I
Exactly.
said I had a theory.
It's foolproof. If you just say you have a theory every 30 minutes or so, and then you can reference it later. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't say I had a theory, but I knew that this scene was going to happen, and I regret not mentioning it last episode. I knew I knew all of this was going to happen. I knew everything, right?
Yeah.
You could just say these things.
You're so smart, Shan.
Thank you. I just knew it. I have it written down here.
Guys making fun of me. Well, and that's because I have a guess of something that I think might happen later. And I don't want to say it because I don't want to be right and spoil something. And I also don't want to say it and have it be right and then have you guys be accidentally coy towards me and spoil it for myself. So just going to be tight-lipped. But
this is making for great content.
Yeah, I think so. I'm intrigued. Yeah.
All right. I noticed she kind of swims around the tar like a catcher BT, just like the look and feel of it. But it probably doesn't mean anything. It just... I like it. Anyway, after the fight ends, a normal rainbow arcs behind her after she emerges from the tar as Tarfall is ascending into the sky. So this is a reversal of expectation, especially after like this ominous scene with Tomorrow. So I think, so we have a normal rainbow arced the normal way with red on the outside instead of an inverted one. So, and I think it's raining at this point, but I don't think it might not be Timefall. If it is, she can't age from it because she's in
doesn't
direct
seem to be
exposure.
affecting her. Yeah,
but I don't think it's Timefall specifically because we're not getting the chiralium refraction that is required to invert the chiral rainbow. But yeah, so that would also probably mean that the Tarfall isn't the same as the beach's physics. So Tarfall is kind of different than, because it's not as it would have to have chiralium. I don't know. The physics are different here, but also the rainbow being not inverted kind of like tells you something about, it's more character revealing to who Tomorrow is. Like, that was kind of evil in a cool way, but she's a good person and she saved the day.
Well, and I also think that we experience upside down chiral rainbows during really intense chiral events, but because Tomorrow is a living character manifesting chiralic properties, that maybe would that cause the inverse rainbow to invert again and just become a normal rainbow? I
don't know that he went that far. I think it's just she's from the land of the dead, and that's not the same as the beach, and so Tarfall and her physics, or the physics surrounding her, aren't the same thing as the chiralium or Timefall from the beach.
Okay.
Also, I noticed if this might again not be Timefall because it could just be a coincidence, but like you don't see plants growing and decaying around this rainy area that they're in.
Yeah, Sam does have his protective hood up, but maybe he just doesn't want to get wet. So
it's fine by me.
Yeah.
All right, so Sam encourages her to come back. She wonders if she's really alive, and Sam insists that she is. I love that, like, as a reserved character, it's like on Parks and Recreation when Gary, Jerry, Larry, Gingrich, Gurgich, he tries to compliment Anne while she's leaving in the Chris and Anne episode, and it just like falls flat, and she's annoyed and wants it to end. And then Ron just walks up, and he's like, I've enjoyed parts of our time together, and she's a sobbing mess within 1 second. And like when Sam is able to demonstrate these like human-like connections when he's usually so reserved and seemingly apathetic about everything, it just like it feels good, right? Like it's meaningful.
Well, and Sam feels generally, he seems to interact with Tomorrow more gently and with more kindness and patience than he does with most anyone else in the game, at least to this point. Like he helps her put on and tie her shoes. You know, when she's trying to get off like the Magellan, he like kind of is being like gently grabs her and is like, hey, like, and now he's kind of having this soft dialogue with her that is sort of atypical for Sam. I think that for some reason Sam is treating Tomorrow with particular softness.
Yeah, there's like a brokenness of his character that he feels through Tomorrow. He resonates with her. So throughout all of this episode, we're getting moments that are really just like moments for Sam to interact with Tomorrow and feel connected to her. And yeah, he just like, it seems like the unspoken subtext here is he feels her brokenness, and there's like an instinct for him to take care of her that he maybe has been suppressing, and maybe this is him arcing towards healing through his relationship with Tomorrow, which, you know, is necessary, because to go from the inciting incident of Lou dying at the beginning, he has to get through the stages of grief and find peace by the end. Presumably that's where they're going with the character. Alright, so Sam puts on her shoes. She says she doesn't think she had a family and asks about Sam's, and that's where he indicates his is gone. So this is another moment, like I was saying, of connection between like, we have similar tragedy, we don't know our family. Fragile asks Tomorrow to stay, and she gives her the ring, and then it turns into a real girls' club. Got the three of them just canoodling, and I don't know, just like, it just feels impenetrable, this glass ceiling that they've imposed on the DHV Magellan, and I want to be a part of it, but I don't feel like I can be.
Real girls club, classic. Yeah.
Classic.
I'm gonna start lady-splaining things to you next. Yeah.
All right. So we learned that all the mechs operate like puppets on a ghost frequency and can operate off the chiral network. So maybe this ghost frequency is like the visual representation of like the white strands we see around Tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
I did like this little rundown that I think Tarman is the one telling you all about these things, where he's like, they're not working through the chiral network. They have no like radio receivers or like, basically he's saying we have no idea what's controlling them. They're not autonomous. Like, we don't know what's controlling them or if they're controlling themselves and how they're doing that. And so the name Ghost Mechs is a really cool name because it brings to mind life and death, like a ghost, which is a big theme, life and death, a big theme of Death Stranding, but also ghost being is like a kind of a calling to attention that something is controlling these, or they're controlling themselves and they have no idea how. So I think Ghost Mechs is a super cool name for these things.
Yeah. I just wanted to think of it like if it is a frequency or something, because really, essentially, these ghost mechs are being puppeted. And you had just mentioned, and I liked the theory, that the strands around Tomorrow appeared to be like she's a marionette of some sort. And maybe this is something that the ghost mechs are also operating on, but like I had posited that maybe you just can't see it. And you can see it in her heightened emotional state, but maybe those white strands are the invisible frequency that they are all operating on that is usually not visible to the naked eye.
Would that connect tomorrow to the ghost mechs somehow? You think?
Again, just a theory. I don't know how she could be connected to them. I've never seen the white strands yet in relationship to the ghost mechs. It's just I wanted to make something out of those white strands. So if I see those white strands around a ghost mech, then I'm just going to say it's 100% true. Alright, so we get another flashback to the kid's POV. We look down, we see his hand is burned with a coin or metal of some sort. He's looking for his parents again, and somebody reaches down and says, "This way." I don't really want to dig into like what I think all of these flashbacks are saying, because we know this is like an inevitable story beat that will be revealed. I just want to kind of get into like figuring out the lore and stuff like that, or the character motivations. So I feel like, okay, just saying this is the flashback, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Unless
that.
there's something new in it that we're supposed to already connect to something that happened before this. I don't want to guess what happens after.
Yeah, like to me it felt very much so this is just new information that's going to need something later on. Like it didn't really feel like it built on anything.
Alright, so they go off to see Hartman. He's in the same room as before back in the UCA. He's in a body skeleton. He's brought back to life, and he frantically types the last beach's coordinates in relationship to the upper beach. So he uses L and B. So I looked into this. This is the Galactic coordinate system, and it's a spherical coordinate system used to specify positions of objects in our Milky Way, taking the plane of the galaxy as its fundamental equator. And it's centered on the sun, or more precisely in the solar system, but aligned such that the galactic plane, which is B, is 0 degrees. So this would be the equator. This is the midplane of the Milky Way's disk, where most of the stars, gas, and dust lie. Then the galactic longitude is L. So this is measured from degrees 0 to 360, increasing in the direction of the galactic rotation. So it'd go from 0 to 360 in the, I don't know if it's clockwise or counterclockwise of the galactic rotation. So 0 points towards galactic center. So you have the center, which is the sun, but this 0 degrees of the longitude points towards the center of the Milky Way, in order to give it a reference point to zero out. So 0 degrees points to the galactic center or towards the constellation Sagittarius, and 90 degrees points roughly towards the direction of the constellation Cygnus. The galactic latitude is measured from negative 90 degrees to plus 90 degrees. B 0 degrees, which we already talked about, is the galactic plane. Greater than 0 points towards north galactic pole, and less than 0 degrees points towards the south galactic pole. So anything above and below the flat plane of the Milky Way galaxy is the latitude plane of B. So very sciencey, very cool that he used real life sciencey stuff to be able to denote the relationship of beaches to each other. So I think what this is saying is Hartman is using the upper beach, or Amelie's beach, as the equivalent of the sun in this formula, with galactic center still possibly corresponding to actual galactic center, or possibly maybe the originating location of like the Death Stranding explosion. But yeah, I think he's just like he's using that same equation of mapping out spatial areas in space, but using the alternate space of the beach, with Amelie being the center of it.
Some serious attention to detail. Kojima either himself did all of that math and figured it out, or he's like, I have this idea, and got a mathematician who's like, does this make sense? Math it out for me. But like, that's some crazy attention to detail.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, so Hartman turns. He's wearing blue heart glasses. I think
Because of course he is.
Yeah. Love the hearts. He's always giving likes. He's very touchy. But I think he's wearing blue glasses, in my opinion, because as because his character motivation is to find his family, and the last time he saw them is when he was on the beach and everybody was drenched in blue, and it's sort of him wearing those glasses to, it's supposed to parallel how that moment he wants to see that, or he's trying to manifest it or something like that. Or maybe that's just like where his mind always is, so he's always wearing those to kind of be in that headspace. I don't know.
I didn't notice that they were blue tinted. I was too distracted by the heart-shaped frames and how every time Hartman talks, he's like, heart, heart, heart. Imagine it as a cardiovascular system. I've got heart glasses now. It's all about hearts with Hartman.
Well, he's always going to other beaches, and on the beaches, there are no colors. So even when he's just traveling beaches, he'd be in color because he's alive. But any dead person he comes across would be in blue. But I think it's just the general blue filtered desaturated look, and he's wearing the glasses in the real life to kind of feel like he's always there in a weird way.
Maybe he just gets headaches from looking at his computer screen too much. He had to get himself some blue light glasses. That's probably what it is.
That's probably it. That's
yeah.
But my blue light glasses aren't literally blue. They're clear and they keep
because
blue light out.
His are the really good ones. So you got the crappy cheapo ones. You got to get the heart-shaped blue ones. Those are the real good ones.
All right, so it says that Hartman is played by Nicholas Winding Refn, and I thought that was confusing because I only remembered it being Darren Jacobs from the first one. I don't know that they explained that the character model is Nicholas Winding Refn, and the voice actor and mocap actor is Darren Jacobs. So it's another writer-director.
Yeah, it does seem like maybe they should give credit to both of the people.
He probably did in the credits, but like...
Well, no, but in that moment it would still be
card
nice to like the likeness of this person acted by this person, you know?
I think they do get both names when it pops
They
up.
give it here.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, never mind that.
They didn't do it in Death Stranding 1, I don't think, but they're doing it in this game.
Did they do that with Tarman as well? And I just didn't notice. I saw George Miller and then my brain turned off. Yeah.
Yes, that's why I was talking down to you in that moment. I was like, I just...
That makes sense because I was dumb, so...
So now we have Hartman and Guillermo del Toro, but I think he also did his own voice capture, and Tarman, George Miller. So that's at least 3. Was there a 4th one that was a writer director? He has these like really random directors. Those are the ones I could think of.
No. Look out for Michael Bay in Death Stranding 3.
Oh, no. I really want Michael Bay to be the new
to play all the roles.
Yeah.
to be the villain. He's Higgs 2.0. Yeah.
And what he does is just takes the game or movies that you love and destroys them.
Makes them worse and explosions. Yeah.
That's his villain arc.
Yeah. So he said he came here to continue finding his family. He's finished at this location that he's currently at, and he can join them on the DHV Magellan. I love his acting here. You can feel that there's a very real, palpable suffering that he's going through. Like, he's broken inside for having not found his family so far.
Yeah, it feels like, because you get a little bit of that in the first game, but there's almost this, like... I feel like there's this hope that he's defeated. There's this hope that Hartman has that, like, maybe from the first game, it's like maybe, we figure out all this stuff with Amelie and the EE, and that will help my work somehow. And it's just hasn't. He's still struggling to find his family. And so he seems kind of like he's still hopeful that he will find his family, but there's a hollowness to him in this game that wasn't there as much in the first.
Right. So he started doing the beach coordinate system in order to help figure out how to connect Australia more efficiently. He'd provide location data to APAS, which used it to build a database. His tiers are beach water, and he explains that water circulates between them and the world of the living, the beaches and the world of the living. So the water circulates all beaches, and the living world's water, there's an ecosystem. And so I think this kind of confirms, well, this I think it does confirm that Timefall is officially falling from the beach, and part of that ecosystem is it falling from that beach, hitting the earth, and then it's real water here, then it goes into the tar, back into its own beach, and so that's how it's able to cycle through the real world and there. But they've never said that the Timefall is coming from the beach, but I think it's through the seam of a beach.
No, when I had the same thought when Hartman was talking about how the water moves through this world. I just thought about like learning about the precipitation cycle in school and then modifying that for, you know, this weird new science that Kojima's throwing at us. And it's like, okay, it needs to have a cycle. And so I had the like almost the exact same thought where Timefall comes from the beach and then seeps back down either through the ground or the tar makes sense. I hadn't considered that, but through the tar back into the seam and then the beach and then can rain back down as Timefall again.
Yeah, so this was the theory that I had back while doing Death Stranding 1, that Timefall was beach, water, and that's why up until it touches something physical, it still has the time-distorting effects of the beach. And I was making this guess right as we were coming out of, I think, a Cliff Unger beach. And they're like, well, you were only there for like 1 second. But he's like, I was there for much longer, for hours.
I've been gone for 100 years.
And then I was like, okay, so then if there's a time-distorting effect from when he goes to that beach, what else do we know has time-distorting effects? Oh, we know Timefall does. So when that beach water touches a physical object, it's stealing time from them because it is aging them much quicker in relation to the time that can pass on the beach relative to the time that's necessary for that time to pass on Earth.
And it also makes sense as to why Sam doesn't age when he like wades through rivers and stuff, because that Timefall has hit the earth and has, you know, used its, you know, its time properties, and now it's just regular water.
Right.
And then it regains its time shifting properties as it seeps through the oil back into the beach, or not the oil, the tar.
The tar, yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. All right, so he collects his tier, and he's collecting samples for a collaborator, the hydrologist. It's a sickly woman who hides behind this enclosed area in this bookcase. If you go and interact with that hole after Hartman leaves...
I was just going to say...
Did you do it?
I did. Of course I did.
Of course. I'm going to go interact
Well, I was like, Tucker loves interacting with holes.
Any hole. That looks like a glory hole.
Yeah, he sees a hole and he's like, I got to interact with that. No, but I like immediately, I was like waiting for Hartman to finish talking because I was like, I need to go over there and figure out what in the world is going on with that lady. And you go over there and you interact with the hole, and then she like projectile vomits out of there like this fluorescent green fluid.
Yeah,
and like Sam backs away. Yeah, it's like The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Sam backs away, it barely misses him, and then she says, hang on, I wrote it down. She says, take good care of him, or something like that. She just says, like, take good care of him. And I was like, that's super weird. I know less about this lady after talking to her than I did before. I have no idea what's going on with that.
Yeah, we'll find more about her later, although she's kind of side content, not that necessary, but she ties more into lore later on that's revealed.
I just think it's such a weird that Kojima feels the need to give these distinct, strange characteristics to side characters. Mm-hmm. That it's just like, it can't just be like... impression. So they all make impressions. It can't just be like, oh, this is my lab assistant. Go on, lab assistant, take my stuff. No, it's got to be a weird puking woman who coughs up and lives behind the wall and has like a tiny hidey hole where she takes samples from. It's just like maximum weirdness cranked to 11 for everything with Kojima.
Yeah. To be fair, the most boring character I think in all of Death Stranding so far is the one guy in this game and in Death Stranding 1. Don't remember his name, but he knows you because you knew Igor. It was like from the first mission in the first game.
Oh, it's like Igor's brother?
Igor Frank? It's because it's what's Victor Frankenstein? Oh, it's Victor. It's Victor. So Igor is Frankenstein's assistant, and so You have Victor Frankenstein and Igor
It's Frankenstein.
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 Yeah, but I couldn't remember his name because there's nothing memorable about him.
He didn't puke
Was
at
the
you
point I
out
was
of a
trying to
hole.
make.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I like that almost every side character, especially the scientists, reveal lore, so he hasn't really wasted any character.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Also,
yeah.
was it
Go
just
on.
me, or for the first like half of this interaction with Hartman, I thought he had a BB pod on his chest,
That
and
was
then
the
I was
point,
like,
yeah.
yeah, and then as I was taking note, I looked at it and was like, holy crap, is that his heart? It's huge. It's like it's like the size of all your organs, and it's on the outside of his body, and it's definitely his heart because he references it later as like, it's been rough on the old ticker, but for way too long, it was like I thought he had a BB pod on him, and you're so used to seeing people with BB pods, it didn't register to me as weird at all. Like, why does Hartman have a BB pod? And then nope, it's his actual heart, and it's the size of an elephant's heart, just like Kevin Malone.
Just like Kevin, I was gonna say.
He has a big heart. No, he has an elephant's heart. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Hartman brings a suitcase. He says it's insurance. We'll learn about this later, so I'm not going to talk about it. At the DHV Magellan, Hartman says he's been sending himself emails. Fragile gets them too about Lou's record. He hasn't been sending them, though.
He's getting emails, faxes from himself from the future. I could see it in Tucker's eyes. He's like they're
right
sending. Tucker and I had that same.
Yeah.
I wrote that down as soon as he said it. It's like, I've been getting mail from myself. I was like, from yourself, from the future. For those of you who don't know, it's a hilarious reference to a cold open from The Office. So,
Yeah. Dear Dwight, at 11 p.m. somebody poisons the coffee. Do not drink the coffee. Signed, sincerely, future Dwight.
and then Stanley goes to drink the coffee. Dwight just smacks it out of his hand.
You'll
Gosh,
thank
I
me
love
later.
that show. You'll thank me later. Yeah. So good.
All right, so whoever's sending these emails, they're sending info about the BB program. Hartman dislikes the BB program for sustaining the chiral network, so he gives it a thumbs down. R&D for the BBs began shortly after the Death Stranding started. The inciting incident was the C-section of a brain-dead mother to save a child. I think this was Sam and his mother. I think he was the original, but it failed.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just the R&D. This isn't the official program that hasn't started yet because it failed and they had to start it again later. But this does elucidate concretely that the Death Stranding started before the first Repatriate was created. So I was wrong about that. So, Amelie gets born to both worlds, learns that she's an extinction entity, and wants to call it quits by the time she's 22. Then she severs her Ha and her Ka, and they go in separate directions, although they're the same being. But then while she's Bridget stranding around, she's looking into this BB program. She wants to create a BB out of Sam. It fails. So she's sad for the child having been shot, so she repatriates it. That imbalance isn't what started the Death Stranding, or at least maybe that's what started it in earnest, but it's not. You know what? If that's the case, then my whole Dia de los Muertos thing isn't something. Or, like, I don't know. The Death Stranding definitely started before, but I do think there was, like, some big incident that happened from him becoming a repatriate. But I don't know for sure.
Well, also could be that there's some time that needs to happen between the it's not like repatriation, bam, whales falling from the sky, Death Stranding. I think there needs to be some chiral buildup, and it takes a while for BTs to develop and be created. And
Yeah.
I thought for sure
the precursor to it.
Yeah, I thought for sure in the first game that it says something about how Sam's repatriation caused the first Death Stranding. Like, I think didn't
That's
they
what I
just come right out
thought.
and say it, or is that something that we just theorized while we were?
I thought I theorized it, and so I don't think
Okay,
that
well,
was right.
I will. I'm curious about that. I'll look through my notes and I'll look it up later or something, and maybe next episode we can touch on that again, because I thought that the first game outright says that Sam's initial repatriation causes the first Death Stranding.
No, that was me on one of my long-winded rants about. I think that's where it came from.
Shan is so long-winded that sometimes it's hard for me to remember, what actually happened and what was Shan just on a ramble. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so it could also be that she was born in an extinction entity, and the Death Stranding started when she bifurcated her Ha and her Ka. I don't know. That maybe really isn't something significant. I can't say for sure. But
so AI is saying that no, his repatriation did not cause a Death Stranding, but that's just AI, so who knows?
Well, they have no sources.
AI seems wrong.
Yeah, AI was going to say, so.
Well, we've had other, we've had 5 other big 5 extinction events. We've had other minor extinction events. That would, for my theory to have been correct, then we would have needed something like a repatriation to start all of them. So I think that's why it's probably wrong. I think it's really just the birth of an extinction entity starts the early phase of a Death Stranding.
See, and now this other thing is saying that his revival upset the balance of life and death, triggering the Death Stranding. So maybe not causing, but triggering it?
See, and I think that's what I'm saying is, I think that there is, an early phase, and Tucker was saying this too, there's an early phase, things are starting to happen, and then repatriation's nope, this Death Stranding is on, and you can't put it back in the bottle until until they fix it at the end.
All right, I'm going to poke around on the internet and our notes and see if I can, and if I'll remember for next time, because I'm going to need to sit and think about it. But I have a distinct memory of, I feel like maybe that's something they said, that his repatriation. Anyways, I'm getting hung up on this detail, but we can keep going.
But this, I think, does confirm that we had no BBs between Sam and the Manhattan Project. So, because in this section we're also talking about how they had 10 total units, and they were numbered 0, 1 through 10, and they were used as, because originally we were going to have Sam as a core BB unit as the sole sacrifice to create this chiral network, and but that didn't work, so they ended up using multiple units, and that was 1 through 10, so we don't know about if there's but Sam, I think, was going to be the first, and then that was nixed because he was repatriated, so he's not 0, 1, and he technically never was he was a BB, right, for a second. He was born from a still mother.
Yeah, I mean, well, we see Sam's memories talking to his dad, Cliff, and he's in a pod, so.
The pod is very apparent. So the BB project had equipment.
Maybe either Sam is 00 or the numbering started after that, because the BB project hadn't really worked until later. Because Sam being a being a BB, and the men but they went to go connect the chiral network 4 years ago, and that's when Amelie goes on her expedition. And so there were BBs in the years leading up to that, but Sam's in his 40s or 50s, so there was decades between Sam failing and then restarting the project. Supposedly. Anyway. So they say when the obstetrician touched the fetus, they glimpsed the beach, because the BB is still midway between the beach and the real world. Unborn children of still mothers are still connected to the beach. Sam worries, but Charlie assures new Cupid model doesn't require a human catalyst, so that's great, because we in the first Death Stranding game did sacrifice a BB on the West Coast. And what's funny is that while Hartman is describing the first 10 BB pods and how they could have used an extra one, you see 01 through 09, but the one on the West Coast is an obfuscated pod number such that you never see the number. I don't know if it's because you're never supposed to know. Like, I don't know if it's because you could just say it's 10 and it was just convenient how the shot was divided, but like every single shot they were hiding that number of pod 10. But that's the one that Sam sacrificed because Amelie's expedition never made it there. And you go and put it there and then you walk out and then you get into a Higgs battle. And we were like apoplectic. We're like, what's Sam doing? Did he just sacrifice a BB? And I don't think they really explained it in that game, but we know now.
Yeah, it seems like a big thing for them to just kind of gloss over in the first game, but now it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so Bridget didn't want to allow women to be rendered brain dead on purpose, but research continued undeterred. Bridget smuggled women from Mexico and other places. So 4 years ago, Bridges embarked on this journey, including backups. 10 total units were prepped for integration, only 9 used to lay the foundations for North America. Hartman couldn't locate number 10. Drawbridge has a higher clearance, so he has fragile search. And Deadman determined that there was another BB-28 before Lou, which was decommissioned. 4 years ago, Lou was assigned to BB-28 and placed back into storage. Also 4 years ago, Expeditions started. Right. So when they're going through like timelines and they're not like writing this down on a whiteboard, it's kind of hard for me to follow.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to keep your own timeline and mark it as they say a thing so that you can put it all, because it's just kind of word soup when they're like, and then this happened and that happened and this happened. Yeah.
Right. So 4 years ago, Bridges was about to embark on the journey across the UC to connect the UCA, but Lou was assigned to BB-28 at that moment. So Lou was swapped out right before the expedition for some reason and placed into storage, and that's when Igor Frank got a hold of the pod to use as utility. Alright, so Hartman says that they could have made use of an extra unit like Lou, but Lou was left in storage anyway. Was Lou meant for something else or unsuitable for sacrifice or something else? Did Lou play a part in the OG BB experiments, outliving her supposed intended life duration, if so? So that is it for like the episodes we're going to cover, but is there anything from that scene that you want to talk about?
No, I think there's a lot of details that I am hoping will be further illuminated as I go, because right now it's just timeline nonsense about. I am mildly intrigued about why there are 2 BB-28s and why I'm sure that there's a reason that that's going to play into later, because they brought it up like 6 times. So
yeah, we don't know if like the original BB-28, well, BB-28 was decommissioned, so the BB-28 that used to be in BB-28's pod doesn't matter. It's Lou that matters, right?
Yeah, but that's the only time where they've like switched, like assigned a serial number to a different BB. Was it just because that one wasn't viable and so they just swapped it out with one that was working? Or like, so I'm like they said, they keep calling attention to it, and so I'm assuming that there's going to be some kind of story significance later on.
So BB or Lou could be anything from BB like 00 to 10 through 27, because we also didn't see the number that was on the West Coast, but that wouldn't have been Lou, or that could have been somebody swapped into 10. Yeah, but for some reason. All right, anything else? No?
Nope.
Did we do it? Kind of. It wasn't as high energy. So I'm not like terribly excited about. I hope that people followed us to the end here. It wasn't as great and quick and high pace as the last episode, but we did have some fantastic lore discoveries in these episodes. That Eric's mind was a little bit blown.
Yeah, I was very excited about the thing that I discovered that I'm not going to talk about, but that was my big thing.
You definitely
That definitely is a real thing, and is totally happened, and also, yeah, we brought up some cool lore things that I hadn't considered, and I had this is a good one for me. I really enjoyed this one.
Like, is it audacious for me to think maybe I'm the only person on Earth that has figured out that Nirvana is the same location as Mexico?
Yeah.
I just think that's a big...
I'm sure audacious. I think you're being audacious.
Well, guess what? I figured it out after a week and a half of the game being released. Like,
you're probably
people have finished the game.
You're probably in a very small group of people, but like I don't think that you're the only one in the world.
Only one in the world, other than the people who developed the game. Maybe Kojima himself, and he didn't tell his developers.
It's just Shan. He's smarter than everybody.
The smartest boy in school. That's what I'm getting at. I was just really proud of that revelation.
I mean, that was a good one. So kudos. Yeah.
All right. Well. Please like, comment, subscribe. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. Please listen to Eric's Indie Corners on Thursdays. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro. Bleep-a-doof, bleep-a-deep, bloop-a-dee-blow.